What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. In today's video, we're going to be doing what if the Soviet Union came back in 2024. So first things first is there is no like NATO or European Union or any major alliance because that absolutely would mean that the Soviet Union would get their butt whipped in any single war. So like no UN either. Just saying that. So yeah, let's just go right into the video. Oh shoot, I missed a couple borders down here. 1 second, guys. Let me just go ahead and quickly erase this. I thought I erased all the borders. I just missed a little bit, but yeah. Okay, so let's get right into the video. So first things first is the Soviet Union they've popped back into reality and they realize that they've lost all control over like anything. They're communist, but like still. They are going to be buffed a little bit for this video. We're going to buff Russia up for a little bit and all the countries that Russia annexed to become the Soviet Union. But yeah. So their first plan of action is to declare war on Finland with no NATO to defend them. They go ahead and they are able to take out they believe that Finland's going to be an easy target. And this is not World War II Soviet Union. This is Cold War Soviet Union. So, yeah. Let's get right into the war. So, yeah, the Soviets, they started marching through into Finland. They end up getting pushed out for a little bit. But eventually the Finns are able to push back the Soviets a little bit. Not enough to take them out of their country, but enough to stop this war. And then the Soviet Union, they go ahead and start an offensive right here, which actually does go completely successful. They were able to do what they wanted to, and the Soviets, they go ahead and start an offensive to cut off the whole northern part of the country, and they do that, and they are able to complete it. So now with the Soviet Union able to do what they are doing, they go ahead and they start making a spearhead out here because this is like a very militarized zone right now because of the Finland people. They were planning on making a counteroffensive, pushing them out back to here, so it'll look like something like this, pushing these guys back out to here and pushing these guys back out to there, and then making an offensive into here, cutting off all of this area. So which means that all these troops are being circled, and then they can easily just move through and wipe them all that out. So that is the Finland plan. So that's why it is also a very militarized zone. But the Soviets, they go ahead and make an encirclement, and you can the Finland, they weren't fully able to withstand this encirclement, and eventually all these troops get killed or captured. So now with a massive morale hit on the Finland part, they go ahead and they start to break, and they do make a little bit of a spearhead out right here. It doesn't go so totally successful for them. The Soviets do actually lose some ground here because of some bad decision making, but with some good decision making, and yes, this might seem stupid for a little bit. This is really good for them, but Sweden goes ahead and joins this war on the side of Finland, in hoping that they will cede over these islands to Sweden, which they actually do. About pretty quickly after the Soviets start the invasion. Not the invasion. After the Swedish start the invasion of the Russians, the Russians, they start making some naval invasions. They start sieging some islands because these boats were getting prepared to naval invade Finland, and since they were getting prepared, they're now prepared, and they go ahead and start a naval invasion right out here to cut off a supply line, and with the Soviets now pretty much controlling the Baltic Sea. It's pretty much just a Russian lake now, because they control all of the inner stuff pretty much, and maybe up here is gonna be a little hard to control for them because they don't have any really major ports here, and Sweden's starting pushing, but Finland and Sweden, they start making a spearhead out to meet up with each other. And well, Russia, they go ahead. Well, not Russia. Oh my gosh, the Soviet Union. They go ahead and remove their troops from here before they could quickly, before Sweden could finish off the encirclement. So, old troops. There was no really big casualties from an encirclement. So, which was good for the Russians. And this also, Joseph Stalin. Yes, Joseph Stalin came back with the Soviet Union. So Joseph Stalin, he makes a decision, and he says, pull back to about right here. And well, Finland and Sweden both think that they're about to get peace deal. And well, Sweden's believe that they're going to get this land out of Finland and this island. But they're probably going to lose these islands and lose some money. But meh, doesn't really matter. But little did they know is they were just reorganizing the troops to go ahead and start an encirclement of the capital of Finland. Which is honestly pretty major because, well, with Finland's capital encircled and now captured, Finland troops are now like, what do we do? But the Finland government was luckily able to escape before, but they end up, some Soviet troops, they end up finding the plane that the Finland leader was on. It was going to a non-totally militarized zone, so the Soviets were quickly able to swoop in and encircle this area and start searching for it. They find the president, and the president is assassinated. So now the Russians are going to start the offensive back onto the Swedish, and eventually the rest of the southern half of Finland surrenders. And well, now the Russian Navy is now starting to get moved on to here, and now the coastline of Sweden is starting to get braided. And well, winter comes, and surprisingly enough, an ice bridge was made right here, and over 200,000 Soviet troops were marched through here. They march through, and they are able to now they're now in core Swedish territory, not on any islands, or just pushing back in the Finland front. But it is honestly pretty major that the Swedish were able to do this. I mean, not the Swedish, the Soviets were able to do this because, well, 200,000 troops marching on a thin piece of ice, because it was actually pretty thin, and like 0 casualties while they were marching, and only like 500 casualties compared to the Swedish 1,000 casualties. Yeah, it was pretty major of a battle. But eventually, the Finland is fully kicked. The Swedish are kicked out of Finland, and eventually an offensive in the northern is happening. And well, obviously winter is their strong suit. So down here, since it's still winter, the Russians, they go ahead and start making a push, and they go ahead and get the southern coast. And well, a massive push for the capital of Stockholm happens, and well, it is now not looking so good for them. But eventually, Sweden got their troops together. They were able to push back both front lines, so they were able to push the southern front line back, actually a fair amount, because like the Soviets, they were not fully prepared for this massive counteroffensive. So yeah. And then you also have this offensive going not terribly, but eventually winter stops, and the berating continues now. So Sweden kind of misses winter, but not at the same time. Eventually, multiple naval invasions happened around the area of Stockholm. It is, as you can see, it is not looking so good for the Sweden anymore, because obviously their main troops were like here and on this coastline and here on this coastal line, but not really up here. So like right here, obviously there was still troops there, but not as much as there should have been. Eventually the Soviets, they were able to continue their offensive, and well, they go ahead and encircle some troops, and they're now trying to blitzkrieg like the last major parts of Sweden's troops. And well, after a very smart calculation from some Swedish generals, they were able to break out old both encirclements, but not by much. And well, they go ahead and decide that they're going to try to hold on to the capital, but not really anywhere else. So they pretty much tell old troops to retreat, and they hold this for a little bit, with them slowly removing troops from this area. But eventually the Russians decided, well, how about we stop pushing here and just take all our troops and push here and take the capital? And they're like, yeah, that's probably smart. They take the capital, and well, Sweden has no choice but to surrender. And the peace treaty looks something like this: fully annexed, these islands, Russians islands. Also, you see this. Oh yeah, this is Russian, and same with this. No, I'm joking, not that much. This chunk of you. So yeah, the Russians, they are now, well, not the Russians, the Soviets, they are now definitely here, and they are here to stay, because this is their first war. Yes, they had some humiliated defeats in this war, but at the same time, they were still able to hold on and win the war. And well, eventually Norway, they go ahead and make a decision to start an alliance with fear of an invasion. Denmark joins because, well, fear of an invasion. And a country that is really quick to join is the not the Soviets, the U.S. Because, well, commies. But Canada and the rest of Europe is pretty hesitant, especially Poland, because they don't want to be invaded. So, they don't really think that this will be able to defend them. Like this, the Yellow Alliance will be able to defend them, because, well, what the Russians could easily do is just cut off from right here, take control of all of this, and well, push into them and stop the U.S. from sending in over any support. So yeah, the Soviet Union, they go ahead and declare war on the Polish. So yeah, they should have joined the Yellow Alliance, but they also declare war on Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, and Czechia. And well, a country that joins is Bulgaria. Bulgaria joins the war on the Russian team, and Greece joins the war on the blue team, and Turkey joins the war on the red team. Just to get on the Russians' good side, not the Russians, the Soviets' good side. And well, yeah, it does work. Well, this would probably bring France in, but that's not going to happen yet. So yeah, eventually, the Soviet offensive, it does go pretty good for a decent amount of time. By a decent amount of time, I mean, like, they're probably not going to get pushed back much in this war, because, like, it's not cold down here. It's pretty nice out here. And yes, they might have a little bit to go on some capitals. Like, the farthest capital is obviously Prague, right here, in the middle of Czechia. And then you have Budapest, Warsaw, or Warsaw's like right here, actually. Warsaw's like right here. Warsaw, the Romanian capital, don't remember it. And then you have the Greece capital, don't remember the name. It's like, starts with an A. And well, if France were to join this war, then they would probably have to just, like, send, like, some, like, ships and, like, raid the coastline. So yeah, those are all the capitals that they probably need to get to win. But the Russians, they go ahead and start an offensive to get the Polish capital. But Poland is not as weak as they once were, and the Soviets did not know that. So Poland is quick to react and push them back pretty hard. So yeah, obviously this is not a Polish video, but they do go ahead and are able to push the Soviets back a little bit. But down here in the south, the Greece is not doing so hot, so they go ahead and they call in France. So yes, France is now in the war. And yes, will it be complicated to get troops over there into Poland? Yes. Do they have compliance from Germany? No. They don't want to be invaded. They want to keep their uh, eastern part. They want to keep this part. They want to keep this part of their country, so they're not picking sides. If anything, they're more favorable to the Soviets for that reason. And the Soviets and the Germans made a deal. As soon as France joined the war, the Soviets said, "Here, I won't invade you if you just don't let France put any troops in your country." And they said, "Okay." And Germany, they knocked up their military spending quite a bit after the Soviets. But now, Bulgaria, they stop their full attention on the Greece border, and they go ahead and start their attention over here in Romania, which doesn't go totally terrible, but not terribly great, because they were expecting to meet up with the Russians also expecting to meet up there, but eventually, once it looks like this is like the best, they were about to meet up, but eventually the Romanians were able to start pushing back with some support from the French, because yes, the French somehow got there. But the Bulgarians, they go ahead and decide to just hold this front line right here and go ahead and start pushing into Greece. So, in the past couple of days, Turkey has started to berate the coastal line of Greece, but now French ships are getting over here and they are starting to fight back. And well, Turkey, they go ahead and they start doing some naval invasions of some islands. And well, obviously, like, no one lives here, so it's not that big of a loss. But something that is scary is Turkey starts to take some islands off the coast of the capital, and they were even able to make a naval invasion in the mainland, and they take it off the island. So yeah. Now the Bulgarians, they go ahead and start a push, and well, their plan was exactly what I drew out, was to make a naval invasion, like, not naval invasion, to just like push out as hard as possible, like this, and then like do it. So they did that, and yes, it does look like a nail, I guess you could say. But obviously this will not hold, and the Bulgarians, they realize that they're starting to get encircled, with the Greece now starting to push out. So the Bulgarians, they pulled back like all the way, not completely all the way. They decided that they were going to hold here. And well, the Turkish, they go ahead and also decide to holding, because well, it's winter. It's getting cold. No one wants to fight in winter. So yeah, the Bulgarians and the Turkish, they go ahead and settling for the winter. The Romanians, they start settling in on the front line on the Russians, but that's probably going to be a very big mistake. But this front line, it's going to be chill for the entire of winter. So yeah, the Russians, they go ahead and they start their offensive back into Poland during winter. It hits December 1st, and the Russians, they start to push in, and they actually siege the capital. They actually get Warsaw for a little bit, but this was mainly a distraction to pull pretty much all Polish troops off the front line and just push that back. So they were pretty much, the Russians, they were just retreating, and see, the U.S. reporters, they were just saying, look at the Russians run. But little do they know, well, you see, they're still outside of the city. Because, well, yeah. Obviously, Poland is quick to react and does make a little bit of a pushback. But the Russians, they are still right outside of the city. So, now with Warsaw getting even more bombed by some Soviet planes, they go ahead and they decide to push on Hungary. They go ahead and they quickly makes a push through, and well, they do kind of have to leak in on Slovakia to hold the front line, and they even leak into Poland, some troops. But this is just to hold the massive push that they're doing, like make it stable so they don't collapse. Like this, they can't just push them out. And well, eventually this does become like a complete front line, because well, they go ahead and also push out to here and out to here. in Romania. So yeah, oh no. So yeah, now Romania, they go ahead and they start to regret their decision of settling for the winter, because well, obviously the Romanians, they weren't really expecting much attacks from the Russians because they were mostly focusing on Poland. But the Russians, they were quickly able to cut Romania into two in a matter of a week. It took them a week. It has not even been a full year since this war started. It's been about 3 months, and Russia's fighting 7 countries with 2 allies. And yes, more French troops each day are getting to the front line, but now French troops cannot get in here. So now the Soviets, they demand that Turkey go ahead and finish the job, or else the Soviets will use the troops that are stationed in their capital, Turkey's capital, to invade the capital and kill the president. And they made that threat. And well, Turkey, they go ahead and say, okay. And with a lot of Soviet help, the Turkish, they are able to take the rest, like some important parts of Greece, with the help of Bulgarians. So the Turkish, the Soviets, and the Russians and the Soviets, they go ahead and they finish the job of of Greece. So now the Soviets, they go ahead and they realize that Corsica, they're going to be really highly defended, because like this is where a lot of troops were stationed and going to Greece. So they go ahead and they start destroying the coastal line. Like, this used to be a happy family trip place. Not no more, because well, the Soviets, they were able to take control over the whole coastal line. Yeah, let me just go around tracing that quickly. So yeah, they go ahead and they have now have control over the whole island, and the highly militarized zone is now becoming a bloodbath for the Americans, because well, the Americans, they are sending over support. But we're gonna say that 2024 just hit and the U.S. election happened, and Donald Trump promises to end this war. And well, he also promises to leave the Yellow Alliance, and if the French are continue losing land to the Soviets, because like the French, they're pretty much in the Yellow Alliance. They're pretty much, but they're like a really light dark yellow color. But the Soviets, they go ahead and start their offensive back into Poland, and this time it is actually going to be a real siege of Warsaw. And you see, this time they were able to capture it, and with some troops, and with a large portion of the Polish army getting taken out, it is now looking like they're going to be dead. But with this, Poland surrenders, Czechia surrenders, Slovakia surrenders, but neither Romania, well, this part of Romania surrenders, but this part of Romania does not surrender, and Hungary does not surrender either. But until Budapest was captured, they didn't surrender, but Budapest was captured in 14 days. And well, yeah. And then you have Romania getting captured, but the French, they demand they will not be following. And well, the U.S., they are getting more and more scared with a threat of a naval invasion from the Soviets, with a lot of Soviet ships being caught here, and Turkish ships, and Bulgarian ships, and now the Polish ships, and every other ship, because they're captured. And well, yeah. But this was just a distraction. Let me just make sure that I'm getting rid of all these lines. So yeah, this is just a distraction. They go ahead and capture Dunkirk, because they go ahead and set sail a smaller fleet, and they sneakily they set sail from their Swedish port, sneakily going through here and making a naval invasion. barely any French people knew about it until they were able to capture more land and the rest of Dunkirk. So, the French government is now stationing a lot of troops on this border. And, well, it is terrifying how the Soviets were able to get over here. But, now with the distraction over there, the Soviets were able to make another invasion over here. Because the French are kind of stupid, and they didn't realize that they can make a naval invasion there, because their ships those are real ships. They can still naval invade you from there. But the French, they're like, I don't think so. So, now, Operation France Banana Split. That's what Joseph Stalin is calling this. Oh my gosh. They say they're calling this the French Banana Split, because their plan is to cut this in two right here, through here, and then like cut this into here. So they're calling it the Banana Split. So yeah, they're gonna be like 4 parts, because like it's actually gonna be like this, probably gonna be like this thick, and then like here. So yeah, there's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of the country. And well, it's now been 2 years, and after those 2 years, the Soviets, they were able to start Operation Banana Split. And honestly, it hasn't gone terribly. But eventually one day the French, oh shoot, I made them capture Paris. The Soviets, they haven't captured Paris yet, but they're like outside of Paris. So, yeah. But one day, some French people, they go ahead and just start marching into Soviet territory. They just leave. They just leave their country. And actually, no, not like French people, but French troops. They go in and start fighting on the Soviet side. And this is when you can tell that your country is cooked, when your military starts fighting for the other side. Old French people are starting to say, just give up, just surrender, like we always do. And with Paris captured, what happens is the Soviets, they go ahead and destroy the Eiffel Tower. And this was a massive morale hit. And Banana Split was completed. Operation Banana Split was completed. And well, now it was just left to cut them into here, cut them this way. But before they could, they started a little bit of an offensive into here. But once they got around here, the French surrendered. So, now with the Soviet Union completely united, they've now able to pretty much capture most of the, more than the land that they wanted. But this peace treaty looks like this. The Soviets, they're going to be taking away the coastal line from, hold up. So, for Germany's compliance, they go ahead and get some land from the Soviets. And well, yeah, so they get that. And that from the French. So yeah, the Germans, they are happy that they kind of agreed to stick with the Soviets and not do it. But I feel like if they did decide to join the other team, they probably could. The blue team would have won. And that's what a lot of blue team government are saying. Because they actually fled to Germany, but Germany sent them to France. But yeah. So, the Soviet Union, they do actually go ahead and take a fair amount of land from Poland. And they do actually, not leave much land to remain. They go ahead and take... So, yeah. The Soviets, they take all of this. And, well... Yeah, the Soviets, they go ahead and puppet the rest. And honestly, I feel like they are definitely going to struggle with holding on to their French puppet. Because, well... unless they do actually this Joseph Stalin is planning on handing it over to Germany, but see, yeah, it's you might think this is weird because like Joseph Stalin probably wouldn't like the Germans, but Joseph Stalin he kind of forgot about that what the Germans did, but the Turkish they get the land that they were promised. So the Bulgarians they get what they wanted. They get this, which means they're no longer landlocked, and they get some islands, which are like these ones out here. Um, yeah, so they these are the islands that they get and they wanted, and they weren't actually asking for much more. They were wanting more, but they couldn't really choose. This land is claimed, so no one really owns it right now, except for the Turkish. They do take a little bit. They take this chunk right here, and then they say to the Bulgarians, "Go crazy, make it a puppet, do whatever." And while they're like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "Yeah, I don't care." So yeah, now with peace negotiations being sent over, it's starting to look more and more like the Soviet Union would win the Cold War. But the U.S. election finally came in, and well, the Trump won, like in real life. Um, go Trump, I guess. Yeah, woo Trump. And well, they go ahead and well, Trump goes ahead and says, "Joseph, how are you here? How are you not dead?" He's like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" Also, the Soviets they take that island. That will definitely break away in like the next 2 years. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making for you guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye.